Kundalini Awakening. My story, is it possible to awaken? Kundalini on your own? The answer here is definitely yes. A Kundalini awakening is our inner divine potential. I was 24 years old when I first came into contact with Kundalini literature. I quickly realized this was the answer to everything I had been searching for spiritually. In my early 20s, I explored the world of philosophy to figure out the meaning of life. I never found it there. Every philosophy lacked something I was yearning for. Only later did I know this was a spiritual connection to something greater within me. I was 24 years old at the moment I started reading about Kundalini Awakening. I felt that this was it. A month later, I was trying out every technique I could find in books and on the internet. I don't know why, but I was so inspired by all the wondrous things I had read that I never read or noticed any words of warning on awakening the Kundalini. I made myself a routine of techniques that I practiced, but could only hope for results. There wasn't anybody I knew that had tried to do this, nor were any of my friends even aware of the Kundalini. I continued onwards alone, with no one to explain these new ideas or my practice to. Before I continue sharing my personal story and what happened the next few months, I want to talk about some of the wondrous things I had read while researching the Kundalini Shakti. You'll then be better able to understand my frame of mind and how I became so incredibly inspired and determined when you conserve it in this way. I am skipping ahead a tiny bit here by going into the specific techniques, but will elaborate further later. 1 month of practice. After 1 month of practicing the techniques, I could feel a burning sensation down by the root chakra. It wasn't very pleasant, but I was extremely happy about it. From my reading, this was to be expected, and this just proved that I was on the right path. The theory behind all of this was the energy would accumulate in the root chakra, and when the energy reached sufficient levels, Shakti would uncoil from its position in the root chakra. 2 months. This is when the magic started very gently to happen. I could still feel a burning sensation in my lower back, but there were days where I also felt a kind of bliss I had never before experienced. I was convinced this was Shakti finally being able to travel beyond its dormant resting place and reach higher up into new chakras. 3 months. From the books I had found, I read that a Kundalini awakening would bring sensations in the spine that were different for each individual. After 3 months, I felt what can be described as water flowing from the root chakra and up the spine. It was pleasant, and I can't say how happy I was to feel this. To me, this was a miracle greater than anything I had ever known. The sensation only came once in a while, perhaps once every day. Otherwise, everything was normal. I didn't feel a sudden change in any way. One thing had changed, though. My beliefs about what's possible to achieve is just one of them. This was 10 years ago now, and the story above changed my life forever, in a positive way. There are so many stories to tell and things to elaborate on, which this website will do. A Kundalini awakening is a miracle that we're born with. It rests within us in the root chakra, and it waits for us to say yes and follow its path towards awakening. 10 years later. What happened? I continued to practice and understand the Kundalini ever since those first 3 months of practice. After a few months, I realized that awakening the Kundalini meant that it was always with me. I would do certain yoga movements and poses that helped the energy flow, and could at those times feel the same pleasant sensations flowing through my spine. I had many small and big experiences of spiritual awakening since then, and I attributed all of them the Kundalini. It was as if we were a team working towards a higher goal. Today, I believe that is a fact. I experienced what I call Shiva-Shakti union, and my awareness would continually grow. I mention all these briefly here, but will write in more detail later. Kundalini awakening techniques. I want to share with you one of the techniques I used during those 3 months. What I understood in time was that you only need to awaken it once if you do it the right way. After the initial awakening, it only needs kindling using less effort. In the next video, I will tell you some experiences again. Thanks for watching this video.